So over the years, I have spoken to a lot of people who own old cars. Some of them are new, some of them are old, you know, who have had that car for more than 10-15 years. और कुछ लोग young भी हैं जिनने गाड़ी recently खरीदी है. But सबका एक ही common agenda रहता है. None of them want to sell their car. They all love their car and keep it, despite having much more modern cars today with more features, this, that, everything. And today I am with one such car which has been in the hearts and minds of enthusiasts for over a decade since it launched back in 2009. And this is the Chevrolet Cruze. This is a 2016 variant, which was unfortunately the last time the Cruze was seen in India and also globally as well. This car is still kind of a head turner because of the kind of performance it produces even today. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a little bit about this car. I'm going to show you around what you got back in the day for your 17 lakh rupees is what I believe, and then we'll take it out for a drive and see how it goes. Now first things first, back in the day when this car came out in the Indian market, there was no car which put out so much horsepower. In fact, आज के दिन भी there is no car which puts out so much horsepower, and most probably रहेगी भी नहीं इस segment में कोई गाड़ी, because this car back then in 2016 put out 164 horsepower, 350 Newton meters of torque, and had a 0 to 100 time of 9.6 seconds. Now that 0 to 100 time has been taken over and broken by other cars like the Octavia with the 2-liter TDI, but the amount of horsepower, just the raw horsepower this car produced, was unmatched and still stays unmatched. Even if you see today, the new Octavias also don't produce this much power. And that was all thanks to the 2-liter TDI engine which was in this car. Back in the day, if you ask anybody about the Chevrolet Cruze, and even a lot of people today, they call this the OG diesel rocket. This car was kind of like GM's last stand or GM's last hope back in the day, where GM created this car based on the Delta 2 platform. That platform was used by GM to create a ton of cars across the entire lineup which they had. There were cars which were branded by Daewoo, like the Daewoo Lacetti. There were Opel branded cars, there were Vauxhall branded cars, there were even Buick branded cars and some other cars as well. They were all based on the same Delta 2 platform. This entire car was a joint development across different countries where GM had their presence. Like for example, the car was developed in Germany. The car was designed in Korea by the GM Korea division, which was nothing but Daewoo, which GM had taken over I think in 2002. And the engine was developed by VM Motori, which is an Italian brand. So basically this car was kind of a global effort by GM, and there were a lot of hopes of the company hanging on this platform and this car that it would be successful. It did turn a ton of heads, but there were some problems as well, which we'll get to later. Now I'll quickly show you around this car what all you got for your 16 or 17 lakhs for the LTZ model back in the day. Now before we go ahead, huge thanks to the owner of this car who's lent me his car first of all, and secondly for keeping the car in this condition that you currently see. There are a few scratches here and there, but come on, you have to give it to him. Maintaining a car this old is not easy. Spare parts are not easy to find, and they are pretty expensive. The owner told me that just this particular chrome part which surrounds the DRL as well as the fog lamps, this is part of the facelift which came in 2016. Just this chrome bit costs him 7,500 rupees. So you can just imagine how difficult it is and how cumbersome it is to keep a car like this maintained. This is also another part. This grille, the chromed out grille, was also a part of the 2016 facelift. And if we come over here at the back, this lip spoiler was also part of the 2016 facelift. Alright, let's quickly go inside and check what we have. The minute you open the door, you see all 4 power windows which are one pinch down. They don't have one pinch up, but they have one pinch down. You have power adjustable side view mirrors. Going on the inside, the one thing which you notice and the one thing that everyone used to talk about back in the day were these leather seats. As you can see, even today in 2025, almost 10 years later, a decade later, they hold their shape. They hold everything because these were very, very nice, high quality leather seats. They were supremely comfortable. This car is currently at 1,51,000 kilometers, and even after so much of driving, the seats are absolutely in immaculate condition. That is how the interior was. Now, apart from the gorgeous leather seats that this car has, plastics and the rest was slight bit of a mixed bag where there was slight hard plastics as well. And back in the day, it was sort of considered as a little bit of a hit in terms of its overall interior quality. That said though, I think this car has stood the test of time really well, that even after so many years, even after 10 years, it still doesn't look outdated by any chance. And also another thing to notice is this center console. I remember back in the day going gaga over how cool the center console looked, how radical the center console looked, with the air conditioning vents over here, the fan vent over here. This is basically your entire HVAC control over here. Then over here you have your infotainment settings, your infotainment system, and also the 2016 upgrade got this Chevrolet MyLink system, which is a touchscreen unit where it also gave you aux as well as Bluetooth and CD changer over here as well. This is such a unique design though. Like, even back then it looked radical, and even today it looks so cool. What do you think? Let me know down in the comment section. Over here we have the standard instrument cluster, but there is one unique thing about it is when you turn the car on, there's a start stop button over here. Also, the steering column is both tilt as well as telescopic, and when you press the start button, you will see that both the needles do sort of a self-check where they go all the way till the other end and come back. The car we have today is the automatic. This was the 6-speed CVT. Not exactly the fastest of gearboxes, but then with the engine producing 350 plus torque, it still would have been quite a fast car. Also, one thing which I read up about this car, I am not sure if it is true for the CVT, but for the manual, GM India actually changed the second gear's ratio, made it a lot shorter, so it would be more efficient to use in city and traffic situations. Also over here you get another nifty little place where you can store some documents inside the dashboard. The glove box is kind of small but maybe adequate. Over here is where you get the fuse box. If you pull down the sun visor, you have an illuminated vanity mirror. This car also got a sunroof. This is one good thing I like about these 2-liter diesels from any manufacturer. Like, they were not very rattly, they were not loud. The 1 liter, 1.5 liter, 1.6 liter तक के जो diesel engines आते थे, they were all quite clattery. But 2-liter diesel engines were actually big enough that that clatter was not substantially heard even when you're sitting in the car and idling. Now, obviously, this car was bought for two very specific reasons. One of that was of its interior, of how it made you feel. This car had sporty interior. It also had these great, comfortable, very thick and very good leather seats. Also a lot of stuff to play around with, like your steering wheel controls. It had the entire climate control and infotainment system. But the main reason that people used to buy this car was under that bonnet, and that was that 2-liter engine, which gave this car a nickname of being a diesel rocket. First things first, we are currently on a ground, and the minute we start driving this car, the first thing I realize is, man, the suspensions are actually quite good. The suspensions are able to cope up with bad and undulated roads, no problem. There are hardly any bumps or any crashy feeling that is coming over here on the inside. The second thing is that this steering is actually nicely weighted. It's not like the steering wheels in modern cars where एक उंगली से घुमा लो लोग बोलते हैं, but that maybe city में that definitely has advantages, but outside the city, when you are in corners, it kind of gives you a very vague feeling. It doesn't give you a very precise idea of where you want to place the car and how you want to place the car. This steering is a lot more hefty. It's not difficult. I'm not saying that it's cumbersome to operate. It is a lot more hefty, giving you a lot more feel when you're entering corners and when you're actually maneuvering the steering. Also, another thing is that right now, as I'm just in D, I'm in the drive mode, the normal drive mode. The engine is supremely, it feels refined. It doesn't clatter at all. I can barely hear the engine from sitting over here on the inside. And this is such a comfortable cruising car. That was the thing when you get all these different countries, like Opel in Germany was the guys who developed this car. Then design was done by Koreans. So when these companies come together, they bring all their own country's engineering qualities, and that is what you see with this car. This was a car, despite having an American badge, this car actually had the capability and the properties of a German car or a European car, where this car could basically was designed to cruise on the autobahn at 150 180 kilometers per hour throughout the day, and you can feel it in the way this engine has refinement. The suspensions also feel very, very pliant. They are not crashy at all. They go over speed breakers, they go over potholes without any problems. They're actually very smooth. It's absolutely smooth to pick up from first gear, go into second and all the way to third and so on. It's a very, very refined car. We're out over here on the highway, and this is where I want to open it up a little bit more. Let's see how it goes. So I'm currently at 2000 RPM, which is roughly, no, now the gears dropped. I'm at 1500 RPM, about 50 kilometers per hour. Foot down on the throttle, the gear shifts down, it kicks down, and we are, yep, that's the 3-digit speeds which we are not supposed to exceed. That's pretty awesome. And the good part, you know what, is that it did it so seamlessly, it did it so effortlessly. It would have been a lot more aggressive if this was a manual transmission, which it isn't. But the good part is, being a automatic, it's actually super smooth, it's super seamless. There is no sort of jerkiness in the transmission. It just got to 3-digit speeds without a problem. Again, foot down on the throttle, the transmission is a little slow to react to the inputs, but because you've got, as I mentioned before, because you got so much of torque, even if it's a little late, the torque just compensates and it just pushes the car through. This is a great car to be driving on the highways. I mean, I am currently doing 80 kilometers per hour. It feels like I'm driving at 40. I am kidding you not. That is how good the suspensions are. The suspensions don't let anything. The car is just leveled. It's just flat. And when I say this car has an American badge, but it has European driving potential, it has European driving properties, that is what I mean. Absolutely smooth. So unfortunately, like it goes with most American cars, this car was a victim to a lot of recalls. I believe there were 4 or 5 recalls in total. There was one recall in 2011, then another one in 2012, one in 2013, one another in 2014. And if I remember, probably there might be more or not, I'm not so sure. But this car was plagued with a lot of recalls. There were recalls regarding fire risks. There were recalls regarding this car's subframe. There were recalls regarding the axle. There were a lot of major and serious recalls that this car had, and despite having such good potential, like this car was selling like hotcakes back in the day when it was launched in 2009, 2010, 11, all these years, this car just sold crazy. And you know, eventually after 2015, 16, it sort of dropped off the cliff, and eventually, you know, once Chevrolet left India, well, the car and its owners were all left in a limbo. That said though, even today, after all these years driving this car, a 10-year-old car, firstly, it doesn't feel like a 10-year-old car. That is, of course, not just the car. That is also a lot thanks to the owner who has spent his time, effort and money to keep this car going in this particular condition. Guys, it is not easy, okay? हम लोगों को सब ये पुरानी गाड़ियाँ देख के नॉस्टैल्जिया का फील आता है. हम लोग सब बोलते हैं यार मैं भी, एक तो सस्ते में मिल रही है तो हम लोग लालच में आ जाते हैं कि सस्ते में मिल रही है गाड़ी, नॉस्टैल्जिया है ये वो, and we go ahead and we buy a car like this. But you have to know, these cars are not easy to maintain. Parts are super difficult to find, specifically if it's a car like Chevrolet where the company is only exited India. Parts are not easy to find, and parts are very, very expensive. Like just the chrome surrounds for the DRL and the fog lamp will cost the owner 7,500 rupees. That is just ridiculous, okay? So you need to make sure that you are up for all those challenges if you are looking to buy a car like this, okay, in today's day and date. Mana, it is a fun car. Mana, it's a great, sublime highway cruiser, okay? That is why it got that name as well, cruise, because over here on the highways where you actually can stretch this car's legs fully and you can actually realize the potential that this car has. But वो सब के बाद भी you have to be careful that this is not going to be a easy car to maintain. You will have to look around for parts, you will have to find them. मिलेगा सब कुछ, but क्या प्राइस पे मिलेगा और कौन आपको देगा वो supplier command करेगा, वो supplier control करेगा. That is not in your hand. Also, another good thing is that if, for example, you are looking for a car like this, there are good options to get the power even higher. There are a lot of people who offer tunes for this car. A simple stage 1 tune which is just a remap, nothing else, which is not going to cost you more than maybe about 25,000-30,000 rupees. I know for sure stage 1 tune is offered by Code 6. Not sure if other people offer it or not, but I'm pretty sure there will be. Even with just a simple stage 1 tune, this car goes to 200 horsepower from 164 and the torque goes up to 440 Newton meters from 350. And that obviously will bring the 0 to 100 time down by a couple of more seconds. And if you're brave enough and if you have a little more money, then you can go with a downpipe, then you can go with an intercooler and a stage 2 remap. With those things, the power goes up to 230 horsepower approximately with about 500 Newton meters of torque. So there is potential with this car if you're brave enough, if you can wait for your parts to come. Like, this is still a great project car. This is a great secondary car. If you have a reliable car on the side, you can buy this as a secondary car. And you know, when you have a little bit of flexibility for parts and the whole, you know, time for them to arrive to you and the prices and all, this will be a great secondary car, a great secondary performance car, which is still not going to be matched by a lot of diesels out there even in today's date. Let me know, what do you think about this car? I for sure have become a fan, especially after driving it on the highway. Just how smooth, just how planted it feels over here on the highway is bar none. Corners pe this car might not be as agile as some Europeans, but yeah, on bad broken roads and on these highways where most of the time we are, this car does its job. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down in the comment section if you've ever had a cruise or if you know somebody who had a cruise. What's your experience been around this car? I hope to catch you in the next video. Till then, ciao.